At the core of the game media industry subject is the investigation of the emergence of digital game cultures. The digital artifact provided the opportunity to undergo this investigation in relation to one game media text or paratext using a formulated analytical framework. Being given this freedom was at first hard, as I first realised I currently actively don't play any games. I quickly realised, however, this wasn't always the case, as I was once hooked on the computer game for children, Moshi Monsters. A now forgotten game, Moshi Monsters once acquired over 80 million users across 150 countries. It was aimed at children aged 6 to 12 and it was focused on raising your own monster, designing its house, and playing games within the game that would win you currency known as rocks. My DA is a blog site where I have showcased my research and analysis of the game, this guided by my analytical framework. My analytical framework is broken up into 3 sections and it looks at the formal, dramatic, and dynamic elements of the game. Firstly, the formal elements of a game include things such as the rules, objectives, and boundaries, and it's the elements that not only provide the structure but make games different from other forms of media. With these elements, if you were to remove them, a game would no longer be a game. Secondly, the dramatic elements of gameplay is the role of making the rules clearer to players and encouraging the players to become more emotionally invested in the game. The third element that will inform my game analysis is the dynamic elements, and these only occur when the game is being played, and that includes emergence and playtesting. Emergence involves the fact that what are seemingly simple rules can lead to complex behaviours and outcomes. The guidance of my analytical framework led me to a number of great findings. The popularity of this children's game came from the creator's rare ability to create a game that's both entertaining and educational. The objective of the game, which is to maintain the health of your monster, instills the valuable skill of balancing both work and fun and being responsible and taking care for something. The brand was so successful it may have appeared that it was an overnight success, but in fact the growth and brand expansion was a process that took years. Being able to make that transfer from just being a popular internet game to a physical product on shop shelves in this instance was primarily built on one thing, and that's brand loyalty. If Moshi Monsters were to overload the market from day one with video games, toys, apps, there would never be enough interest in the brand from the oversaturation that would have occurred. Instead, their approach was to focus on the game itself and target advertisements at bringing in players into the game. And once that loyalty grew within the game, they then capitalized on the brand expansions at appropriate times that correlated with the success of the game. Going into the creation of my blog site, I did consider that it would be hard to gain and engage an audience, but I didn't realize it would end up being as hard as it was. I attempted to gain an audience by posting my blog site to Twitter, both on the BCM215 hashtag as well as to a wider audience on the hashtag Moshi Monsters and Games. In the end, I did receive feedback from one reader who left a comment on the screen, and that was super useful for me and did assist in the progression of my site, as it got me thinking that this would actually be great content for a post if I were to do it in relation to promotional aspects of the game, considering that promotion is one of the 5 elements that falls under game media. I ultimately do wish I had more of an audience interaction, but still am happy with the response I received from this individual, as the post that was created in response to their feedback ended up being one of my favourites, as it uncovered sources that I otherwise may have missed. This being that Moshi Monsters was once on an advertising blacklist for being accused of aiming their advertisements at children. Now, this shone light on the fact that games with a good name in the media can in fact have downfalls to ethical practice if you take the time to research the brand. Overall, the creation of my blog site was a positive experience, as I looked at the game I once innocently loved through an analytical perspective, and by conducting secondary research was able to find out why Moshi Monsters was such a phenomenon among children for so many years.